We've been watching Tony O'Neill at UK Here We Grow for a couple of years now, and love some of the techniques he uses. And we've had a lot of trouble here growing potatoes. First year we grew them, it was awesome. And ever since then, it's been progressively less. We have a lot of trouble with wireworms and grubs here, no matter what we do. And we are organic, so it becomes a problem. We're not going to use massive... When I looked up wireworms to find out what you could use on them in one of the old books I had, it was just like, I think the EPA doesn't even allow those chemicals anymore. But he had the idea, Tony did, of growing potatoes in buckets. And he actually did a side-by-side comparison in his own garden, where he had a row in the ground and right next to it was a row of buckets. So it got the same amount of rain, it got the same amount of sun, it got the same amount of everything. And he had amazing results from the buckets. And he actually was surprised himself at the time with that video at how well he did. He was like, okay, this is going to be, you know, whatever. And then when the stack of buckets got smaller and the stack of potatoes got bigger, and it's really easy to harvest because you literally just toss these out on a tarp, and then you can even reuse the soil as long as you're willing to add a little bit of fertilizer to it. So we decided we would try that this year because we really like growing potatoes, but we really hate failing at growing potatoes. So that's what we're doing. We bought some potting mix, we bought some compost, some of the fertilizers he suggested, and we're going to give it a try. And hopefully this will inspire you to try something crazy like this too. It's not hard, a little messy, but you could grow one of these on a patio, even in a like townhouse or something. And I found these buckets on Amazon, yes, the big A, because I couldn't find anything local that I liked. Everybody wanted to sell me a flower pot or something fancy. I'm not looking for something fancy, I'm looking for something utilitarian. Make sure when you buy them that they have good holes in the bottom. These do. Or if you buy something that doesn't have holes, you're going to have to drill holes, otherwise you'll drown your potatoes at some point. But yeah, here we go. Trying the new potato planting technique. This is where we're going to put our pots this year. I had initially planned to put these in the greenhouse about a month and a half ago. Didn't happen. So just as well because our weather's gone a little wonky. What we have down here is we cleared it off a bit, smoothed it out a little bit because it was quite lumpy. Didn't bother taking out all the weeds, but most of the big stuff. We have hardware cloth down, and over the top of that we have landscape fabric, and then we have gravel. And the reason we did it this way is that way it'll have good drainage for the pots. It'll protect them from anything crawling up underneath them and eating them, because most of our rodents around here will chew right through plastic and stuff like that. So this is a nice rubbery plastic, but still we didn't want to risk that a gopher would get into the bottom of them. So and we needed to increase the pathway around this bed anyway and beat down the weeds a little. So that's what this thing is behind us here. We're going to set all the pots in a row. I already have irrigation here because this bed behind me is sunchokes, and also called Jerusalem artichokes, and garlic, 2 different kinds of garlic. So I already have the irrigation to this bed, so all I have to do is change the head because that's only got room for 2 lines on it. I'll put a new head on here and I'll be able to water all of these guys just fine without having to install anything major new. That's a quick afternoon project. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. And hopefully this will inspire you to try something crazy like this too. I just need to finish planting these because I have a whole bunch of other stuff I have to get done before the sun goes down tonight.